Good morning, everybody. Look, when we talk about a strategic review, and we went into this process 2 years ago, we tried to think the way top businessmen and women think about companies. And in thinking that way, we asked ourselves three important questions at every stage of the review. Who are we as the World Jewish Congress family in the deepest sense of the word? Where are we going? And how are we going to get there together? And I underscore the word together, because there's never been a time, I believe, since 1936 that the World Jewish Congress as a global franchise understands that it must work together to face, confront, combat, and overcome, and ultimately prevail against the challenges that we face. Now, this strategic review was essentially a process of strategic introspection, rededication to priorities, prioritizing objectives, deciding what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And today represents a very important climax of that process. We are at the 21st of Elul, the 31st of August, 2010. And in another week, we'll have the Jewish New Year, which is, for everyone in this room, a larger personal family expression of introspection in which we check, each of us here, our core values as people, as Jews, as lovers of the Jewish world and Jewish communities and Israel. And you know, I think there's no greater expression for the World Jewish Congress core value then if you go on to the front page of the website of the World Jewish Congress, there is a statement there. It's the only statement that appears in Hebrew and in English. Kol Yisrael arevim ze leze. Every Jew is responsible for one another. But if you look at the word arevim, there are more complexities to that word that impact upon us here today. The word arevim also means guarantee. We guarantee the security, the safety, and the well-being of one another. Those to our left, those to our right, those who didn't come to Jerusalem, and those who are here. And the word arevim means also something even more complex. It means the word mixture. Because what we are as a World Jewish Congress is a gorgeous, powerful mixture of communities, of Jews from different backgrounds, of Jews that have different personal histories, of Jews that have different political affiliations and inclinations and positions. But yet the one principle in common that we all have, that is the bottom line of Kol Yisrael Arevim Ze Leze, is our past and our destiny, where we've come from and where we're going. That is one and that is unified. And taking that with us, that statement on the homepage of the World Jewish Congress, we are moving into a very critical period. As Michael outlined, we're pursuing 6 core areas with great focus and attention and urgency. But there are 2 areas that we're going to focus on with a little bit more urgency. And I'm just going to outline them because my friend and colleague Robert Gut will discuss the problem of the assault on Israel as the nation state of the Jewish people as one of the top priority areas. But the real danger, in a sentence, of the assault on Israel as the nation state of the Jewish people is that the assault intends to break that sentence. Kol Yisrael Arevim Ze Leze. The intention of those undertaking the assault is to break that bond. To break it, to create a wedge between the world Jewish community and the state of Israel, to isolate Israel, to cause it to wither, to cause it to unravel, and ultimately to cause it to implode. The second major subset of that danger is what the assault does to the Jews and to the citizens of Israel, to force them to lose confidence in the actual essence of their own government, of their own institutions of state, and again to isolate Israel from its own public and from its own greater family that the World Jewish Congress in large part represents. The second major threat area or core issue, strategic issue that we're going to deal with is, of course, the issue of Iran, the Iranian threat. And it's the fourfold Iranian threat. That word was used by former Ambassador to Canada, Irwin Cutler, the former Justice Minister of Canada, Irwin Cutler. The threat of an Iran that's racing towards the nuclear finish line, and friends, we do not have much time left to act. The threat of an Iran that is the greatest state sponsor of terror in the world today, and everyone in this room knows what that means when we looked northwards in 2006 and saw Israel's cities being bombed by Iranian-directed, funded, and inspired Hezbollah, and in 2009, in the exact same sort of copycat up until 2009, in this operation by the Iranian-backed Hamas, in which a third of the Israeli public was in bomb shelters, and our cities were being bombed by the Iranian-backed Hamas. The third threat in the fourfold Iranian threat that we will be addressing is the threat of an Iranian regime that commits massive human rights violations against its own people, that is murdering children, juveniles, opposition members, and members of minorities. And fourth, the threat of a genocidal Iran that is inciting to genocide every day for the last 31 years against the nation state of the Jewish people and the Jewish people as a whole. What are we going to do about this? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do about it. What the World Jewish Congress is going to do is launch a campaign to isolate the Iranian regime. I mean, obviously the bigger goal here is to stop Iran from achieving nuclear weapons. That's a big goal. And there are, thank God, hundreds of organizations and groups and governments working together to stop that. But where we can be most effective uniquely is in our capability to work, mobilize our resources, mobilize our global franchise, mobilize our global assets to isolate the Iranian regime. Because at the end of the day, folks, the threat is a combination of capability and intention. And where the focus of the sanctions efforts have been in the world on the capabilities of Iran, uranium enrichment, ballistic development, where there is a unique opportunity to isolate the Iranian regime is to prosecute the issue of incitement to genocide. And so we're going to approach this issue on the basis of moving forward to... Is this going to work? Can you help me from the technical side? Plan B, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to expose and impede Iran's nuclear progress, both by attacking Iran's capability, as well as taking action against their intention. Now, here we go. Where we have, in business language, say in the United States, an unfair advantage, or a relative advantage over any other group or organization in the world, is to proceed to initiate action against the Islamic Republic of Iran, against a crime it has been committing for 31 years and for which there is legal remedy, which is Iran's incitement to genocide of the Jewish people and the nation state of Israel. Now, there is a great opportunity for us here to isolate the Iranian regime, to call for sanctions, to approach the UN, to approach international organizations, to create a media campaign, to approach the International Court of Justice, all through remedies that exist based on the 1948 UN Convention on the Prevention of Genocide, to which Iran is a signatory. And extraordinarily, there has never been an organization that has prosecuted this issue, not diplomatically, not legally, and we have the capability as a global franchise to do this. We are going to raise our voices on this issue and bring it directly to Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, not through committee, directly to him, and he has the opportunity and he has the responsibility, and we have the possibility of referring it to the UN Security Council for action, deliberation, and prosecution. And the world now will come to hear from the World Jewish Congress on this issue, because we can isolate Iran on intention, which is a no-brainer. Even for the adversaries of Israel, it's a no-brainer that the regime has been committing this crime. Let's just take a look, just to remind ourselves of what we've been talking about for the last 3 decades. very quickly. Ayatollah Khomeini had said and was quoted by current President Ahmadinejad, the occupying regime in Al-Quds in Jerusalem must be wiped off the face of the earth. Those Jews who went to Israel were malevolent, evil, greedy thieves and murderers. That was said over and over again. It was said in this instance by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in July 94. Israel's an illegitimate regime, talking about the campaign on the assault on the legitimacy of the state of Israel with no legal basis for its existence. The president again in 2006. We want to educate and inform the larger public about Iran's intention to incite to genocide, which is a crime that it has already committed and a crime against which it is actionable. We want to take action as well, as we are, by the way, against the capabilities of Iran by advocating and even special campaigns, and without going into names at this juncture, for the first time the World Jewish Congress is going to work with two other major Jewish organizations to identify the top and act against the top 20 companies providing refined fuel to Iran, and ask them to cease and desist, and we have remedies if they do not. We're going to build alliances and coalitions. That's going to be critical to implementing our plans worldwide with human rights, or even with other human rights organizations, quietly, with opposition groups, with those in the private sector and business communities. And in short, ladies and gentlemen, with this I end. Now is the time for us as the World Jewish Congress to make our voice heard. Unity of action, unity of purpose, political will, and unity of execution are four principles, are four calls to action that we embody. Now is the time. Now is the time to seize the day, to turn back the night, to work together as the World Jewish Congress, to set an example for the world, to raise the bar on international behavior, and to say to the world, hey, we are here. We are going to take the lead. We are going to turn back these threats. We are going to prevail. We owe it to those who came before us. We owe it to our children, and we owe it to what is written on the homepage of our website, Kol Israel Aravim Ze Leze. Thank you.